Welcome to Redefining Real Estate. I'm Rylan.
And I'm Morgan. Expect a mix of education, humor, and authentic conversation as we explore all things real estate.
Let's jump into today's episode.
All right, today we're going to talk about the home buying process pretty much from start to finish. So I'll let you kick it off, Rylan, with the first steps of at least what our process looks like whenever we're meeting with a buyer.
Yeah, for sure. I think the first thing is finding a trusted realtor in your area that you like. That's going to be a big deal going forwards. Starting the process with someone that has a good strategy in place is always going to be what I would recommend as step one, is just finding someone you know and you trust and you can see yourself working with moving forwards.
Yeah, absolutely. And something that is a little unique for our process is we typically like to sit down with our buyers or our clients and actually do a strategy session, basically a consultation to say, okay, have you purchased before? What is your experience buying? If you don't have much experience, we educate you throughout that process and really figure out what it is that you're going to be needing from us during this transaction. Because obviously, yes, we do negotiate on your behalf, but there are a lot of other things that we can offer you guys as realtors throughout this process. And I think that's important to find someone who's going to take the time to actually sit down with you and go through any questions that you may have and make sure that you're comfortable before moving forward to the next step.
For sure. And yeah, I don't think that's too common to really establish a big game plan. I feel like traditionally it may have just been let's go look at houses and just kind of see which one you like.
Right.
And I think it's really important to really establish a solid game plan before going and doing that. But I mean, after you do that, you're typically you're going to want to get pre-approved with a lender.
Yeah. So tell me what the difference is between pre-approval and pre-qualification.
So I think it's kind of sometimes a misconception that they're somewhat the same thing. Typically getting pre-approved will say that you're allowed a lot of this amount to go look at homes, and this is kind of going to establish your price range. That would be, I think, the biggest difference. But I mean, what's your experience on that?
So in my experience, pre-qualification is like you call up your banker, your mortgage lender, and you say, hey, here is my financial information. You just basically tell them that info over the phone. They don't always ask for the documents that prove the information that you're saying.
Right.
And the reason that a pre-qualification can be good is if you have a very, straightforward file, like you're a W-2 employee, you're salaried, you're a single person with no debt or something like that, where pre-qualification may be okay. Whereas if you have something unique, whether you're self-employed, you're an hourly employee that gets overtime, maybe you haven't been at the same job for 2 years and you're hourly, all of these types of things are going to be things that the mortgage lender has to check and go through their underwriting system. And you'd rather know if there's going to be any issues up front, right? Before getting into this whole entire process and getting under contract and then potentially having a problem.
Right.
So that's the biggest thing. But I do get a lot of people that are confused about why they need to get pre-approved, right here at the beginning, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, maybe you're not buying for 6 months. Right. So I'm curious what your experience has been with your clients as far as getting pre-approved ahead of time and how that could benefit them.
Yeah, I think the first one that comes to mind was I had a client that didn't want to get pre-approved until they found the right house. My advice to them was I wouldn't want to wait for that and then you maybe missed the opportunity somewhere in there. And unfortunately, that's exactly what ended up happening. They found the perfect home over in Bryan for them. Good floor plan, great location, everything. It checked all the boxes. And then they're like, all right, we like it. Let's go look at it. We went and looked at it and they loved it. And then they're like, okay, now we're going to go get pre-approved. And I was like, all right, sounds good. And the house actually went under contract the next 2 days after that. And they were pretty upset. So I think that would be the big thing is timing. If you're already establishing your price range, you'll be ready to go the second you find the house that you like. And you're not going to be running the risk of losing your dream home.
Thanks for hanging out with us today. We hope you found something useful or at least had a good time listening.
Yeah, if you enjoy this episode, feel free to subscribe or share it with someone who might enjoy this content.
And if you have any questions or topics you want us to cover, reach out to us on Instagram. Everything will be linked below for you.